Hey kids! So today I'm going to show you how to install a fan, a ceiling fan, Hunter Fan actually reached out to me wanting to sponsor this video. This is something people have asked me for, and so I thought it's a perfect opportunity to work with Hunter. They like what I'm doing with my channel, and so they wanted to support me, and it made sense. So installing a fan, really, it's really not all that hard as long as you just pay attention to what you're doing and take it in baby steps. That's what I try to teach on my channels, to just slow things down and break it down into small steps so that you can figure it out. Hunter Fans is a quality fan. They've been around for 135 years. They're designed to be quiet and to be wobble free. If you've ever seen a fan, maybe a cheaper fan, and when it gets going fast, it starts wobbling, which can be a little bit scary. These are meant to not do that. So first you'll need to pick out your fan. You can go to www.hunterfan.com and you can look at their complete selection, or they're also available in Lowe's and other hardware stores. And I'll also have a link in the description of this video to the fan that I'm using. I picked out this particular fan because it's low profile, so it sits closer to the ceiling. So, because if it got down too far, I'm fairly tall, that wouldn't be good, right? So you need to make sure that it's up there higher, or they make some that, you can get a down rod to make it longer. So if you have a high ceiling, then the fan can come down a little bit lower. So anyway, so before we do this, I have a dad joke for you, of course, right? So, I was going to tell you a joke about ceiling fans, but it was over your head. So anyway, let's get started. All right, so I thought I'd show you this. This is disconnected, right? There's no power running to it or anything, but this is basically this is what's behind the ceiling. This is, see these nails here? These are actually pounded into a stud. For the most part, obviously it's going to vary depending on what your setup is, but basically you're going to have a junction box like that in the ceiling where the light attaches, okay, that we're going to attach the fan to. And then sticking out of that, again, this is a basic, I'm showing you real basic. You got a black wire, and then you got a white wire, and then you got the ground. That's what that is, okay? And basically, when we open up that light, when we remove the light, we're going to have 3 wires sticking down just like that, right? And so first thing we need to do is cut the power, right? We want the power off, and then we're going to end up removing our light, and we're going to have this sticking down that we're going to we're going to detach the existing light, and then we're going to attach that fan to, okay? So I thought I'd show you that first, just so you understand, so you know what to expect and what's behind there before we take it apart. All right. Okay, so this is the light I'm going to remove. Like I said, I really like this light. I actually replaced it about a year ago, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it down, and we're going to replace it with a fan. And then, like I said, I'll move this light to somewhere else because I really like it. I don't want to donate it. I want to hang on to it. So anyway, I'll show you what that looks like. We just got to start taking it apart. There's going to be, like I said, it's different for every light. It's going to be a little bit different. I'll probably start here and unscrew that, but first I still haven't cut the power yet. So before I start doing that, start messing around, right, make sure to cut the power. But so we're just going to start taking it apart so we can get back to this part, right, where that junction box is sticking out of the ceiling that we're gonna attach the fan to. Okay, so I'm out at my junction box, and I know that number 9, this is the one that I need to flip off. It's on right now. I just need to flip it off, and then that'll cut the power to that light. So I just wanted to show you this. I think I showed it in a previous video, but wanted to walk you through that again. You got to go to your panel, and you got to figure out which circuit it's on. And I do have a circuit breaker detective video, so you could refer to that to figure out which circuits it's on if you need to, but I already know that this one's 9, so I'm turning that off, right? So just flip it to the left. We'll go check and make sure that light's off now. Okay, so the light is off, and I'm just going to double check with the switch. I'll try to make it loud so you can hear it. Yeah, so there's nothing. there's no power running to that. So I'm safe to go ahead and start disassembling this. And yeah, let me just get into it. I think this just was like this. And again, this is going to vary depending on what your lamp looks like. So I couldn't remember what this was like. So it's just, it had a, here, that's going to stay there. So it just had this little screw on the top that was just screwed up onto there, and then now it's got another nut that needs to come off. So I'm going to work on that. Okay, so I moved the camera a little bit so you can maybe see these. These are caps that are threaded that are going to go right over the top of these bolts that are sticking down. That's what's holding it up there. So I'm going to remove those. Let's see here. So I got to unscrew that. I'll show you what that looks like when I get it off here. Yeah, so it just looks like that, and it's got threads in it. Right, so that's what's holding that up, and then there's one on the other side too. Try to get to it. Okay, and now that should just come down. There we go. Okay, so we got the wires coming out here. So there's a black wire, there's the ground, and here's the white wire. Like I showed you at the beginning, okay? You got a black wire, a white wire, and a ground. Pretty straightforward. So I always like to add a little bit of electrical tape. You don't have to, it doesn't ask you to. I just always, it's like one more thing to kind of hold those wires together, okay? So all I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna unscrew these caps, okay? And that's just what holds those guys together. Here we go. So basically that's all that is. That thing's just screwed right on there, and it screws the wires together, okay? So now that's that. Okay. And then this one here, just unscrew it. Okay, and then that sets that free. So now we got these two free, and it's still being held up by this one wire here. It's being held by the ground. This thing isn't too heavy, but I'm gonna have to figure out how that's attached there. Let's see, how did I attach that? So we can undo this. Maybe this is all we need to do. If I undo that. Nope. Okay, I think it's wrapped around. I think I did a pretty good job wrapping this guy together. So let's see. And again, this is going to vary. So it's going to, whoa, there we go. Good thing I had a hold of it. So that set it free. Okay, so now we have our black wire, our white wire, and then we have our ground hanging down right here. All right, so the first piece of advice I would give you if you're ever building anything that comes in a kit like this, where it's got all kinds of different pieces, is you lay everything out. Lay everything out first. And then most instruction manuals will have a parts list, and then you just walk through and see what each piece does, and it'll also help you when you're, as you're putting the fan up to go, oh, okay, I recognize that piece because I already had some familiarity with it, right? And then they have, Hunter actually does it where they have little baggies with each, sets of screws or whatever you're going to need, so that it just makes it that much easier to identify it. And then, even before you get started, just kind of read through this. It's not that big of a pamphlet. So you just kind of walk through it and just kind of see what to expect. Oh, okay, that's that, and then that's that, right? So it'll just make your install go so much easier. And then, there could be a part that's missing, and you're frustrated because you're like, where is that thing? It's just best to just check everything, make sure that everything's there before you get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do is install the bracket. And so this is what the bracket looks like on this particular one. And see these little rubber feet here? That actually goes up against the ceiling to kind of give it some stability, right? It's a little bit of flex to it. So it mounts up there and kind of keeps it from that probably helps with a little bit of the wobble. So basically what we need to do is you're just going to feed these wires. These are all off, right? I'm going to feed these wires through here like that, and then I'm going to secure that like that. Okay, so you got your white wire, your black wire, and your ground right here. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to secure that. So that's what I'm going to do right now, basically with just a couple screws. So the way this fan is, and the instructions try to make it kind of easy for you. See how it's got that star on there? It tells you which bag you're looking for. And in this particular bag, it had these wood screws. Okay, that's what it came with. And then, so it tells you, you can either use these to get into a stud, which I always like to get into a stud, or you can actually, the screws that came with your junction box, that's what they call that junction box up there, right? You can screw these things into there. So what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to get one into the actual junction box and then one into a stud, okay? Because I know there's a stud right here, and this gives me all kinds of options. There's lots of slots on this, and so I can do it that way. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so this one is what's considered the machine screw, the one that's going into the actual outlet box. Okay. Okay, that's that one. And then I actually, you can use the screws that came with it. I really like these screws, so this is the screw that I'm going to use. But you could, the ones that came with it were these, right? So I'm just going to use this one, and I'm going to get it into a stud out here on this side. Okay, that's nice and solid. That's not going anywhere, right? So you just want to make sure, because if your junction box is wobbly, that's not going to be a good thing, right? You want to make sure that that's nice and secure. Okay. Okay, the next thing it says to do is this at the bottom here. Rather than read it all, I'm going to just walk you through that. You want to take this, feed it through here, and you have these holes here, and they're going to line up with these holes. Okay, we're going to put that housing on right there. Okay, now those holes are still there, and then we put this on. This is next. That's what that ring is, and we just basically put that right there like that. And then this is the last piece, and you got the 3 holes again, right? So we're going to feed that through just like that. Okay, that's that step, and I just want to keep that like that, and then I move on to the next one. And I'm going to put some screws into there to hold that. Okay, so when you put this piece on, make sure you see how you got the 3 holes on the outside, and then you got this one hole over here by itself. Make sure that lines up with this, right? Because if you put this on here, and if that hole's not there, you're going to be spinning this thing around. You're not going to be able to get that last little ground screw in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and we tighten this up. Tighten up one of the long ones, but don't tighten it all the way. Just get it started. Okay. Part way down. Let's even, we have this little shorter screw that actually is the ground. Let's get that guy in there, and that'll help everything line up. I'll show you a close-up of this in just a second. My hand would be in the way for you right now if I tried to show it right now, but okay, and then this last guy here. Actually, this is the last guy. Okay, so those are all loosely in there. Let me just tighten them down here. Nice and easy. We'll leave the ground one loose a little bit because I'm guessing we're going to attach a ground wire to that. So that's what that looks like inside there. I just attached those. Okay, I actually I cut my own little ground wire here that I'm going to put on that ground. Okay, on that ground screw, and then we're just going to go ahead and screw that down. And okay, and then we'll be able to screw all the grounds together. Okay, so this particular fan actually has a remote. So you may or may not have that, but basically you just got to piece it together. So these two are going to go to the wiring in my house, okay? And then these are going to connect to the fan, okay? And so basically it tells me, and so I just read the instructions. Blue goes to blue. That sure makes it easy, right? Blue goes to blue. So basically you just take these two wires like this and you spin them together. And then you use the cap and then you spin that together, okay? Just take that. Spin it all together. Make sure you get a good connection there, okay? And then the next one is a little bit tricky because you've got a yellow one and there's no yellow, right? So what are we going to do? We're actually going to, it tells you to connect the yellow wire to the black wire, okay? So you actually need to take a look at that. We're going to connect the yellow to the black, okay? We want to get a good connection there, and then we spin those together. Okay. Okay. So now we're ready to go, and that's just going to go down inside there like that, okay? And then we'll be able to connect. Let's put these kind of together so that they're all there, okay? And then we'll connect the black, the white, and the ground once we hang this from the ceiling. Okay? Okay, so now we're just going to take those two holes there, and they're going to hook onto this side over here. Okay, now that we got our receiver hooked up on the inside, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so you're getting close now, right? So now we need to make sure we have our spinnies, right? Actually, I just need one more. Okay, so that way the ground can attach. So if you remember, we had the white, okay? So the white wire, we actually had an extra white wire, right? So here's our white wire, and there's one white wire coming out of the top, right? So we're going to spin all those together. Okay, so we just take this cap off. Remember, the power's off, so we don't need to worry about anything there. Okay, and then we just spin all of these together. We're going to put them all together like that. And then we just spin them all together. So these, my old light that was up here, this is where these ones come from. So in the packet, these are orange, but I'm just reusing the ones I had. Okay, spin that together nice and good. Okay, that's that. And then now we have the black wire, right? And then we're going to have the ground too. So let's go ahead and see what we got for the ground. We got the ground coming from my outlet, and then I got a ground coming from here. Okay, coming from my bracket. So I'm going to spin all those together too. The ground I connected in here, the ground here, and then the ground that's coming from my outlet. We're going to spin all those together too. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is just spin the black wire with the black wire, right? We're going to line those up and spin them together. Okay, just like that. Okay. And if you want, you know, you could add, if you're worried about this coming apart too, you could add a piece of electrical tape. I'll do that occasionally just to make sure if I'm worried about the wires coming undone. So you could just make sure you use a good one, because if you use a bad one, you know, they unravel on you. So, okay, so we're golden. We can just put all that right back in there. So now this is just going to come up here. And everything's tucked in. I'm just going to go ahead and put in one screw for now.
because I just want to double check everything, make sure we got it. Let's see here. And just get that thing started. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I just got to attach the other two, right? We've already got one attached. Now we're just attaching the one on this side. Okay, and then there'll be one more on the other side. Okay, we're almost there. Look at that. So, and then you get to choose the color that you want the fan to be. They usually give you two colors, depending on what color you want facing down for the fan blades. So that's kind of cool. And we'll decide which one of those we want to do. Okay. So I think we can go ahead and finish this up. Okay. And that guy. My ladder and my height is just there's a step. If I had a step in between, it'd be perfect. But all right, let me do that other one, and we'll move on. Okay, so now all we do here is this is a canopy ring, right, that we put on there before, and all that does is we just push it straight on up, and it locks into place. Beautiful. Okay, so now, like I said, you have a fan blade this way or this one. These are this like a gray and then like a light oak. And all we're going to do here is we're just going to slide that right in there, and then we just put 3 screws up inside, and we got to do that 4 different times. Okay, so we're attaching the fan blades, and all you do is just, you want to attach and just, I say finger tight, but maybe not quite finger tight, maybe a little bit tighter than that, just to make sure that it's not going to fall. So we can just use that, and we're going to go ahead and screw that in. I like to get all the blades up first, and then I'll come back and I'll tighten all these things. Okay. See what we did there? All right, so when you're doing these, each one, it comes with a washer and a little mini screw, really a bolt, I guess you'd call it. But yep, and then just make sure your blades are all facing the same way, right? That you've got your gray facing down if that's the color you've chosen, right? So you're not surprised when you get down and go, oops. I've got 3 gray fan blades and 1 light oak, right? So just pay attention to what you're doing. All right, I'll finish this up. You get the hang of this. Pretty straightforward. You just gotta hand tighten those for now, and then we'll come back and we'll tighten them all up at the end. Just make sure they're secured so they don't fall. Okay. Want to make sure those are snug though now. Okay. Okay, so we're back to where we started. Okay. Okay. There you go. Those are all secured. Now we're going to attach the light. What it tells me to do is see these holes right here, these 3 holes. I'm going to put a screw into 2 of them. Okay. So, because, and then it says it doesn't matter which 2, because you'll see in just a second, the piece that's going to attach to this, you don't screw them in all the way. Okay, I'm just going to screw it in part way, and then the other one's just going to fit right on top of it. You'll see, or the piece that we're putting up here is going to attach. Okay, not all the way. Okay, and then now I'm going to take this piece here, okay, and it's going to feed, I got to feed the wires through here. Okay. Just like that. And then the screws that I have, I just put the head over one, and where's the other one? Just gotta find it. There we go. And then I just twist it to the right. Okay, oh, I don't think it's quite on. There we go. Twist it to the right. Okay, and now I can just go ahead and attach that the rest of the way. I want to make sure it's secured. Okay, and then this one, actually let's go ahead and put another screw in the one on the opposite side here. Okay. Okay, and then we'll finish this one up. Oh. Okay, so that's nice and tight. Okay, so now in order to attach the light, it says to put, we got to put 2 screws in here. Same thing again, don't tighten them all the way. Okay, and it says it doesn't matter which 2, and you'll see why. Because we'll have this unit with these holes here, right? So, and we want to attach this first. So we want to plug that in. Let's see, make sure you got it facing the right way. It says AA, so kind of makes it dummy proof for you. Okay, so now that's all attached. Now we're just going to put this guy up here, and we put it on that screw, and we twist it a little bit so that it is where it needs to be. Come on. Okay, that's where it wants to go. Now we're going to go ahead and let's attach the one. Okay, screw that down. Let's screw this one in because we still got a little bit of wiggle room. Let's try to screw it in. Okay, nice and tight. Same thing again, make sure all these are tight. Like I said, it's good to leave it loose for a time, but then you want to make sure everything's tight at the end. Okay? All right, now we just got to put in our bulbs. Okay. Okay, make sure that's secure. Just hand tight though, right? Okay, so we're golden there, and then this last piece is just going to go on here. It should be pretty straightforward how it goes on. I think you can see the notches here, so just line up your notches like that, and then twist it. There you go. Pretty simple, right? So there you go. We got the Hunter logo there for you. All right, so now we just got to turn our power back on and we'll see what we got. All right, so we're just turning our power back on. There we go. Let's go check it out. Okay, this fan is too cool. So it actually comes with a remote. And it's pretty easy. I can just turn on the light like that. Okay, pretty cool. Turn the light on, turn the light off. Okay. And then it actually has the different speeds. So I can have, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, or if I want the fan off and just the light, I hit 0. Okay, so like I said, I'm pretty tall, so I had to pick something with a lower profile. So make sure you do that. Make sure you check that out before you buy your fan, because you don't want it to be too low. So I'll show you this in just a second, but inside here there's actually a switch to change the direction of the fan, because you want it going a certain way during winter and a certain way during summer. You want the, during the winter you want the warm air to be pushing down, but during the summer you want to have that warm air going up, right? So that it keeps it cooler down here. So anyway, I'll show you what that looks like. And as you can see, it's pretty sleek. It's a pretty cool looking fan. That's why I chose it. Nice and clean, and yeah. So, and then over time these get a little dusty. So you just want to come over here and just how I normally do it is I'll just take like one of those Lysol wipes and I'll just wipe it. Get on a ladder and wipe it down. Good. There's actually
cleaners that are meant to go right on it too. So, and then that'll take the dust away too, because it does accumulate no matter what you do, right? So, all right, so let me show you that switch real quick. Okay, remember how we removed this now? We just need to slide it, pull it off there, and then there's that switch, okay? And then you just gotta flip it for winter or flip it for summer. Okay. Okay. All right, so this is for summer. So this is counterclockwise for the summer. Okay, and then we flip that switch to the right if for winter. Okay, and then it takes the warm air and pushes it down for us. So then you just want to, if you want to mount your remote, you just put it here. There's just a little catcher, you know, a little place where you can actually keep that remote, or you can keep the remote wherever you want. This way, I guess it wouldn't get lost, right? If you just, all you do is remove these screws here. Okay, and then you just put this back on here. Okay, screw that back in. Okay, line up the other hole and put it in. Okay, that just goes up right over the top like that. And then you just need to put this guy on here. It just slides right down like this. Like that. And then the remote just goes like, let's see, like that. Beautiful. Okay, so there's my new light and fan in my space. You probably recognize this space. I've done a lot of interviews here, so it'd be nice to actually have some air circulation in this space. You know, and in all honesty, it probably took me about an hour and a half to install it. I just went real slow and, you know, took my time, and I did have some interruptions while I was doing it too. So I have my dogs bothering me. So anyway, I'm sure that you can do this if you just take it slow and yeah, and just be methodical about it. The thing I like about it the most, actually, I mean, I love the air circulation, but look how quiet it is. You can't even hear it. So yeah, it's a very well designed fan. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. So hopefully it gives you the confidence to try it for yourself, and God bless you.